Web3 explained, the future of the internet? The internet is changing once again, and this time it is shifting towards something called Web3. Many people have heard the term, but what does it actually mean? Is it the next major evolution of the web, a financial revolution, or simply another buzzword? In the next few minutes, this video will break down what Web3 is, how it works, why people are excited about it, and why others remain skeptical. By the end, you will have a clear understanding of Web3 and its potential impact on the internet as we know it. To understand Web3, it is helpful to first take a brief look at the evolution of the internet. The early days of the web, often called Web 1.0, were defined by static websites that provided information but offered little to no interaction. There were no social media platforms, no user-generated content, and no personalization, just simple pages of text and images. The internet as we know it today is considered Web 2.0, a phase that introduced social media, user-generated content, and interactive platforms. This shift allowed companies like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to thrive, enabling users to share content while corporations provided the infrastructure. However, this change also concentrated power in the hands of a few large companies that now control vast amounts of personal data and online interactions. Web3 aims to change this model by decentralizing the internet. Instead of relying on major corporations to store and control data, Web3 operates on blockchain technology, a distributed network of computers that ensures transparency and security without the need for a central authority. The core idea behind Web3 is to remove middlemen and give users control over their own data, digital identity, and financial transactions. Instead of logging into websites using email addresses and passwords, users access Web3 platforms through cryptographic wallets that store their digital assets securely. This shift means that personal information is not held by a single company, but rather remains under the user's control. Web3 is already being applied in several real-world scenarios. Cryptographic wallets are becoming an alternative to traditional online accounts, allowing users to authenticate their identity without sharing personal information. Non-fungible tokens, known as NFTs, have created new opportunities for digital ownership by allowing artists, musicians, and creators to sell their work directly to consumers without intermediaries. Decentralized finance, or DeFi, is another growing area of Web3 that enables financial transactions such as lending, borrowing, and trading without the involvement of banks or traditional financial institutions. Decentralized autonomous organizations, or DAOs, represent another example of how Web3 is changing governance by allowing communities to make decisions collectively rather than relying on corporate executives. Even the concept of the Metaverse, a digital space where users can interact and trade virtual goods, is being built on Web3 principles, ensuring that users own their digital assets rather than renting them from a centralized company. Supporters of Web3 believe it has the potential to solve many of the problems associated with the current internet model. By removing centralized control, Web3 offers users greater ownership of their data, increased privacy, and the ability to earn from their contributions rather than simply providing content for large corporations to monetize. This shift could create new economic opportunities for creators, developers, and everyday users who engage with digital platforms. The vision behind Web3 is one of empowerment, where individuals have more control over their online presence and financial interactions without relying on third parties. Despite its potential, Web3 is not without its critics. Some argue that the technology is too complicated for the average user, requiring a steep learning curve that could hinder widespread adoption. Others point to the scalability challenges of blockchain networks, which can be slow and expensive compared to traditional web services. Security concerns also exist, as the rise of cryptocurrency scams and fraudulent projects has demonstrated the risks of a largely unregulated space. Additionally, concerns about the environmental impact of blockchain technology, particularly proof-of-work mining, have raised questions about whether Web3 can be sustainable in the long term. While Web3 faces challenges, it is evolving rapidly. Developers are working on solutions to improve scalability, security, and accessibility, making the technology more user-friendly and efficient. Large companies are also taking notice, with brands like Nike, Adidas, and Starbucks beginning to explore Web3-based initiatives. The question now is whether Web3 will truly decentralize the internet as its proponents envision, or whether major corporations will adapt and maintain control over online platforms in new ways. Web3 is one of the most significant shifts in internet history, with the potential to transform how people interact, earn, and own assets online. Whether it will lead to a more decentralized and user-controlled internet, or simply become another phase in the evolution of technology, remains to be seen. As this space continues to grow, it is essential to stay informed and engaged with the latest developments. Thank you for watching, and see you in the future.